Doctors, when did you realize something was off about a patient? I'd been an emergency response doctor for about 12 years, and at this point, nothing really phases me anymore. Except one time this man rushed in with his teenage daughter. She's been sick and vomiting uncontrollably. Please help her, he pleaded. All night the man played the perfect father, recalling her medical history by heart, holding her hand for hours while we worked on diagnosing her. The nurses kept saying how lucky she was to have such a devoted dad, but when I saw her freeze as his hand traveled down her back, something in my gut told me there was more to the picture-perfect family, and things only got weirder from there. When I asked her directly about her allergies just to confirm, she looked completely lost, like she wasn't sure if it was correct. She even turned to look at him before answering her own birthday. And when I was examining her body for more signs of her illness, I noticed old bruises around her wrists and ankles that looked exactly like rope marks, along with faint finger marks on her neck too, partially covered with makeup. Sir, I'll need you to leave the room. I'll be providing additional tests. All standard protocol. That's BS, and we both know it, Doc. You're just running extra tests to get more money out of me, but it's not happening, he said aggressively. When he saw the shocked expression of the nurses in the room, he put on a professional smile again. Sorry, she has anxiety and really needs me around. Please don't separate us, he said softly, sounding so sincere that I didn't push it anymore, but the red flags were still there. So during my break, I decided to check out their story. I called the previous hospital he'd mentioned in California, but they had no record of them. Then, the insurance numbers he'd given didn't match the standard format we usually see. When I went back to draw blood for tests, I was watching them more carefully, noticing the way she flinched or leaned away from him, the way she stared at the nurses that came near, like she desperately wanted to say something but couldn't. While he was distracted with his phone, she looked straight at me and mouthed, "I you to me," twice. Help me. I kept my face completely neutral while every bone in my body trembled. There wasn't much time left, and I needed to separate them somehow. I walked over to him and said that his car was being towed from the ambulance bay. He didn't even look up from his phone. "I don't care," he said. "Tow it. I'm not leaving until she's okay." I pushed harder, told him they were about to call the police for blocking emergency vehicles. That got his attention. He stood up fast and said, "Fine, we're leaving then," and actually started disconnecting her IV himself. I stopped him and said she needed an urgent CT scan because the vomiting could indicate brain swelling. "I'll take her to another hospital," he said. I told him if she had a brain bleed and he moved her, she'd lose her life instantly, and he'd be under suspicion of neglect and endangerment. His eyes narrowed, thinking. Finally, he stormed out, saying, "Make it quick." The second he was gone, I dragged over one of the other nurses who spoke Spanish to help communicate with her. She says she's 12 and from Honduras. She was taken from the streets on the way home from school and has been here for 8 months. She slept in a house with other girls her age. They hurt them, send them to other men, then take them back to eat medicine. Most importantly, that man is not her father. Before I could call security, the man rushed back in and shoved the nurse onto the floor. He grabbed the little girl's wrist. "We're leaving. Now!" She started screaming, "No!" over and over. "Sir, stop it!" I yelled, trying to pull them apart. "She's my daughter!" he yelled. This time the girl found her voice and screamed in broken English. "He's no father!" 4 other nurses rushed in to grab hold of him, blocking him from leaving the room with her. Security finally arrived just as he was pulling a weapon from his pocket. The girl was safe, but what still haunts me is when the officers reviewed the hospital security footage. He'd been here before with 3 different daughters.